Okay, guys. Today's lesson is going to be a lot like yesterday's. I'm going to go through the first part of it kind of quickly because it's going to be pretty simple for you guys. It's just going to be more practice with the rules for multiplying and dividing integers, which are the same. So we're going to draw our faces again that kind of help us remember that. If the signs are the same, either positive, positive, or negative, negative, in both cases, the answer is going to be positive. This is, again, going to be a little trickier when we start mixing them up with the addition rules, but you'll get used to it. And then if either, if one of the signs is positive and one of them is negative, then the answer is always negative. So keep that in mind as we go through these. I feel like you can probably get through most of them pretty quickly, but the second page we'll spend a little bit more time on here. So obviously you know your division facts. 27 divided by 9 is 3, and because both the signs are negative, our answer will be positive. Going across the way, negative 96 divided by 12. I'll give a little pause here if you guys want to try to write the answers down and then check them. That's going to be a negative 8. Keep in mind that this fraction bar here means divide, so this is the same as 18 divided by negative 3. Because our signs are different, our answer will be negative, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. Similarly, 16 divided by negative 2, 1 positive, 1 negative means our answer is negative, and our number is 8. Losing battery here. Negative 54 divided by negative 6, the answer is positive 9. Some of these bigger ones you should start to recognize. 15 goes into 75 5 times, and because both of the signs are negative, our answer is positive. Now, just a reminder that when we have a 0 in the numerator, our answer is always 0. However, keep in mind that if the tables were turned and there was a 0 in the denominator, that is undefined. And you'll be seeing that more and more this year. Okay, negative 45 divided by negative 9. That's positive 5. Negative 42 divided by negative 3. Negative divided by negative means our answer will be positive. And 42 divided by 3 is 14. You should start to memorize some of those if you haven't already. Negative 51 divided by 3. Negative divided by a positive, our answer will be negative. If you aren't familiar with some of these, work on them, but you can you can always do them out a little bit with long division if you need to. So this is going to be a negative 17. Okay, so that's the real basic end of things. You'll get a little bit of practice with those tonight, but then I also want to remind you of some other division rules. Reciprocals. Okay, reciprocals. I don't even know what I wanted to put in there. Maybe flip-flop? I don't know. Reciprocals are when we flip them. Okay. The numerator and the denominator. And they're two numbers whose product is 1. If you multiply them together, their product will be 1. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. That's what I mean by the flip-flop, right? Because 2/2 times 3/2, 2/3 times 3/2, that's going to give me 6/6 or 1. and that will be true every time. That if you multiply reciprocals, their answer will be 1. The reciprocal of negative 5 is negative 1/5. Okay, you do have to keep the negative. We're not talking about opposites here. We're just talking about reciprocals, right? Because this is negative 5 over 1. And negative 5 over 1 times negative 1 over 5 works out to be positive 5 over 5, which equals 1. And that's why division is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So you'll recall that when we are dividing fractions, we have to do what we call, many of you remember, keep, change, flip. You've had that for years. You keep the first fraction, you change the division to multiplication, and you flip the second fraction. Keep, change, flip. And then we can cross cancel sometimes. It's a beautiful thing. And then we multiply across the numerators and across the denominators. And there's my answer. Going next door over here, I'm going to keep the negative 5/7, change the division to multiplication, and keep in mind that this is negative 5 over 1, so the reciprocal is negative 1 over 5. It doesn't matter where that negative is, okay? Because negative divided by positive, your answer is going to be negative. So I could have put that in the bottom with the 5 if I wanted to. All right, so these are going to cancel out, and this is technically a negative 1, right? They technically cancel out to be 1s. So on the top, I'm going to have negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1, and 7 times 1, which is 7. Let's do a few more here so you can get used to seeing it. Ooh, I almost missed this one over here. Okay, so we started talking a little bit yesterday about how we have to turn mixed numbers into improper fractions before we can multiply them. And that's ultimately what we're going to do here, is multiply them. So we're going to start off on the right foot here. 12, 1 times 12 is 12, plus 7 is 19 over 12, divided by 7 times 5 is 35, plus 3 is 38 over 5. But I need to keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the first one, change the second one, or change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. 19 goes into 38 twice. So when I multiply across the top and the bottom, I get 5 over 24. Okay. Don't panic when you see stuff like this. What does this mean? It means division, right? So you can rewrite this as 4/5 divided by negative 1/2. Then it doesn't look so scary, right? Now we can keep, change, don't forget your negative, flip. And when I do that, my answer is negative 8 over 5. You can leave that as an improper fraction. Same over here. Rewrite it so you can see it. 2/3 divided by 4 over 1. I need to keep, change, flip, and then look for ways that I can reduce this, cross cancel, cross reduce, and I come up with a final answer of 1/6. Oh, I got another one. Huh. Well, I guess they just want us to remember how to do division with decimals. So let's go over that. 1.26 divided by 0.3. I know there's a lot of times at this point that we'd use a calculator, but this is still a good skill to remember. You're going to, when you have the decimal in the divisor, you need to move it to the end. And however many times you move it there, you move it here. Okay, so our decimal point ends up between the 2 and the 6. Now I can start dividing. 3 goes into 12 4 times evenly. 3 goes into 6 2 times evenly. So it's not even this big scary problem really. And remember that we have negative decimals too. So if this had been negative 1.26 divided by 0.3, negative here, then my answer would also have been negative. All right, so you'll be practicing some of this on your homework tonight. Good luck.